Well, we all knew this was gonna happen. I mean, he already improved the Indominus. Why not do the same with the Indoraptor, you know? And based on the Indoraptor I saw in the thumbnail, this thing's probably gonna look sick as hell, and I'm excited for it. Yeah. After this, he has to work on the Scorpius Rex, and then, huh? That'll be interesting to see. Yeah. So, anyways, let's just. I'm excited to see how we're going to make this thing a lot better, so let's just go ahead and jump right in now, shall we? Now, one thing I am curious about, are we going to have a repeat of the hybrid war that, or skirmish, or whatever you want to call it, between Goji Center and Goji Guy? I'm asking, because I already saw Goji Guy live streaming his reaction to this a while ago. So I can only imagine how that went. I'm gonna watch his reaction to it after this, so, yeah. But, yeah, I am curious to see how we are going to improve this thing and make it a lot more deadlier than it already is. So, yeah, let's get right into it.
Let's imagine for a moment that the auction in the Lockwood Manor went a little different, and instead the Indoraptor was not sold to Russian mobster Anton Orlov, but someone else.
What are you doing? This animal is not for sale.
Relax. We'll make some more.
So will they.
Yeah, well, in this case, they happens to be Goji Center. And in this alternate universe, the research and artists from Goji Center HQ will do exactly as Dr. Wu feared.
Alright, well. That's gonna be cool. I'm just imagining, like, someone going back and, like, editing Goji Center in with the hood and everything.
Except instead of making more of these, we'll go ahead and make a few augmentations. Take this prototype and turn it into a creature capable
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna buy your shit and I'm gonna make it better, and then I'm gonna replicate it.
dispatching humans in the worst ways imaginable. Today's design will be made with the intent of creating a viable attack animal that could go toe-to-toe with almost any dinosaur that it might feasibly encounter. Except something huge like a T-Rex or Indom 2.0, but
yeah,
more
I was
so...
about to say, you're gonna make it strong enough to go face-to-face with old Rexy and everything? Yeah, because I'm like, I figure we're gonna make it powerful, but I don't think we're gonna make it that fucking powerful. Yeah. Although I do have the, can it take out Hank though, not Hank 2.0. That's probably in the works. Can it take out Hank? And the answer is probably yes. But we'll see at the end of this. I don't know, maybe he'll bring it up in this and be like, oh yeah, and then, oh yeah, and this thing can also take out Hank too. Wouldn't that be funny? He just dunks on Goji Guy. Yeah.
As a reliable means of dispatching human opponents. Before we begin cooking up Indoraptor 2.0, we should keep in mind three things. Number one, recall that the Indoraptor in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was an unstable prototype, and so the final design may have looked very different from what we saw in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, the purpose of this reimagining won't be just to make an Indoraptor more lethal, it absolutely will be, but also to look for and add traits that will help get the job done, and also be a much more viable working
the job of just basically committing genocide.
animal. After all, wolves are far more dangerous than most dogs, and yet we don't use attack wolves in canine units. Today, the animals involved in the Raptor 2.0 genome will only bring helpful traits to the table, or have the right kind of social behavior to work well with its human handlers. And third, the purpose it was really meant for is still unknown. Let's remember that a well-trained assassin marksman can kill a target from far away much more easily than having a one-ton dinosaur chasing after them. The exact true purpose of the Indoraptor is a question in and of itself that will be addressed in a future video. First things first, unlike the Indominus 2.0 from a previous episode, we're scrapping the entire prototype to start from scratch. The Indoraptor prototype already had well over a dozen species in the genome from the Indominus and anything else Wu modified into it. This affected its behavior because there were too many conflicting instincts or abilities, preventing it from using its best traits effectively. Adding even more elements would only make the situation worse. For this animal, we want the exact right behavior and skills, so we're starting from scratch. However, in order for this to still be considered a raptor per se, we'll keep the same frame as the Indoraptor. The components, as you'll...
That does make sense, because, yeah, it is just basically a raptor species, so yeah. Oh yeah, this will be interesting. Maybe it'll finally be able to take out the Indoraptors after this too, because it was pretty much established that the Indoraptors would be able to basically slap these things in a fight. Yeah, but the Indoraptor 2.0, probably not.
You'll soon find out will be different. Let's start section number 1 with the body. This will have a few components, and to give it the best locomotive attributes possible, we'll start with the tail and leg anatomy. Okay, yes, it might sound weird to start out a conversation about a modified raptor with a herbivorous dinosaur, but here comes a special boost to this animal's movement. Hadrosaurs were some of the most successful large dinosaurs across the late Cretaceous and could be favorably compared to animals like horses. A key to their success was fantastic stamina thanks to a unique part of their tail anatomy. With very tall neural spines for a rigid tail but plenty of muscle attachment, animals like Edmontosaurus could accelerate very quickly but also maintain this speed for a very long span of time. Additionally, mummies of such dinosaurs showed they had very thick pads on their feet to cushion against high-speed impacts in running long distances. Our Indoraptor 2.0 will be augmented with a similar skeletal and muscular structure to the legs and tail, allowing Indoraptor 2.0 to run long distances out in the field without tiring out.
Nope.
It could be deployed in...
Yep, so good luck outrunning this fucker then, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna chase you down like a damn wild dog, because last I checked, those fuckers don't get tired.
one area and then quickly run for miles without exhausting itself. Now it's time to add the contributor of the main frame of this new Indoraptor. Out of the dozens of dromaeosaur species with widely ranging behaviors, it was very likely the largest and most powerful raptors were the most cooperative, and thus more likely to hunt in packs. This new redesigned Indoraptor will
I'm just now thinking of like what it would be if there was an Indoraptor pack. Oh lord.
Use Indoraptor as the base template instead of a heavily modified Deinonychus or Velociraptor from the film version. Specifically, this would be the speculative JP Universe Indoraptor used in a prior video because that one for sure would have superb problem solving and pack hunting skills. A compatible addition to the Indoraptor will be the in-universe Atrociraptor. That is to replace any leftover Velociraptor genome. Not enough to affect or slim down the build too much, but to further bolster this dromaeosaurid posture and cognitive skills. More on this in a little bit. Still, Indoraptor does make up the majority of the build for a good reason. This not only supplies a much sturdier and stronger frame, but brings in helpful extra weapons more lethal than other raptors. Despite being slightly lighter than the original
I'm pretty sure the Indoraptors are probably like the best or strongest raptor species, at least from what I've seen.
Prototype, this Indoraptor 2.0 is packed with more muscles. Slightly lighter than the original prototype, this Indoraptor...
It just makes me laugh because it's like, it just looks like it's got like fucking googly eye right there. I don't know why it does, it just does. It just looked like, it just looked shocked. You're like, oh fuck, I'm a skeleton.
2.0 is packed with more muscles and a highly pneumatic skeleton with hollow bones that have reinforcing structures in the interior and walls that actually make them sturdier than solid bones. These hollow chambers can also act to both increase stamina of this raptor and act as a backup store of air. If it found itself having to run through tear gas, toxic aerosol traps, or debris-filled air, these would assist it in holding its breath long enough to get clear. Another genetic additive that we'll cover later will further help with this. Being modeled after the most powerful dromaeosaur to ever exist brings other benefits, such as the ones discussed in section number 2, jaws.
Alright, here we go.
The robust jaws and very sharp teeth of Indoraptor will be excellent at dismembering its prime target, humans, especially coupled with a wide gape that can open the jaws nearly 80 degrees. Trying to add on jaw strength from creatures like Deinosuchus or T-Rex will be overkill, and require some heavy muscular core and reinforcement on the neck and back just to use those jaws effectively. This smaller predator doesn't have room for this and will add unnecessary weight. Again,
gotta know our limits, I guess. So
remember that we only need enough bite.
We don't need a repeat of Hank, where it just, you know, basically chomps its own jaw off. Yeah, or as I like to call it, Season 1 Decusaurus, because that's pretty much what it was.
Forced to dismember humans. Indoraptor alone will do the trick. This contribution alone will produce a biting pressure of 1,200 to 2,000 psi, similar to some modern croc or alligator species. This may not sound like much, but just sit there and wait. It will get a lot worse.
Well, oh, okay. And well, it'll be enough. It'll be enough to kill, because, you know, that's still a pretty powerful bite, and last I checked, that's still stronger than a lion's.
Similar to its extinct predecessor, lips would mostly cover up the teeth when it has its mouth closed, which helps in preserving the teeth long term by avoiding rot from drying out and protecting the teeth from any chemical agents if it finds itself running through hazards. Unlike the original Indoraptor's exposed teeth shaped for gripping and stabbing, the use of Utahraptor teeth would produce a more bloody wound. The dude in this scene would get its arm sliced off instantly by the new Indoraptor. There are, however, 2 new extra pieces of hardware that we are going to add from 3 mammalian predators.
Alright.
The perks of the short-tailed shrew have already been covered in the Indominus 2.0 episode. For quick recap, the red coloration of these teeth isn't blood, but rather remnants of iron deposits left on the tips of these teeth. In effect, these teeth are coated with metal, which will work great for gnawing right through body armor. In this case, the addition of the shrew will have a few side effects. Despite being about the same size as a mouse, shrews take multiple times more venom to kill because of their rapid metabolism. This also grants them enhanced reflexes and reaction times up to 12 times quicker than other mammals. This is what allows a shrew to dodge a snake strike and then proceed to kill the opponent that is multiple times bigger. Fights between shrews often need high-speed cameras to track anything beyond a blur. Now, this is not to say that Indoraptor 2.0 will fight or bite as fast as this shrew. Sheer size would slow down the 2.0, but it's still going to be extremely agile, even by dinosaur standards. If the 2.0 got into a brawl with the Scorpius Rex and was injured by venomous quills, it would probably shrug off the poison and proceed to maul the Berserk Scorpios. Remember how we mentioned that this Indoraptor 2.0 had a bite of—
I'm just now thinking about this. So we've already have a Indominus 2.0, and we're making an Indoraptor 2.0. Now we need a Scorpius Rex 2.0. Battle Royale. There you go. That'd be very interesting if it happened. And the Indominus would most likely win. Yeah. I mean, unless the Indoraptor and Scorpius Rex 2.0 teamed up, I guess. But then it goes down to who's between those two, I guess. And even then, I'm not sure if they would team. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. Who knows? Only time will tell.
Up to 2,000 psi? Well, the addition of the next mammal will likely double it. There have been many killers across history with fanged maws or huge canines. Concentrating the bite force on fangs not only increases penetration and stab wounds, but allows easier targeting of vital areas that are protected by layers of muscle and armor. This is a big reason why fanged mammals can often punch well above their weight class. See for yourself. Plugging in some numbers into a formula that reveals PSI, we see that a bite that is 1,613.5 PSI can be increased 3 times by just pressing down on a victim using just 2 very sharp mammalian fangs. And that's reducing the force due to the fangs being at the front instead of the back of the jaw. And because we want this animal to kill as efficiently as possible, the fangs will come from a saber tooth. No, these won't come from a Smilodon. Larger ones will be awkward to use. Instead, the fangs of the underrated Hoplophoneus, nicknamed Butcher of the Badlands, and sporting a name that literally means murderous weapon, this jaguar-sized predator sported
yeah, that's probably a really good way to describe this thing. No.
extremely sharp and serrated fangs with
an understatement.
Teeth built into the lower jaw. This false feline predator earned its name by bringing down game up to 12 times its weight. Both mammalian shrew and saber-tooth attributes overlap to create fangs covered in iron, giving it a necessary edge if it has to go up against larger dinosaurs or an especially armored individual. Capable of piercing through the jugular or carotid artery of a large animal, something its predecessor would have trouble doing with its peg-like teeth. The victims of a saber-tooth attack show that predators with these weapons could get creative when they're biting. Against armored prey, there were also some workarounds, such as stabbing directly into the brain case or going for the eye sockets. And this is not the only piece of hardware added on to the teeth. The incisors on the Indoraptor 2.0 might initially look like some kind of demented rodent, but they actually come from the notorious vampire bat, another mammal sporting blades sharper than shark teeth. A razor edge lacking enamel but protected by lips to keep them in good shape, these vampire bat teeth have been compared to blades slicing through tissue.
Alright.
With these teeth, even if the Indo bit down on armor that can flex and warp to slow down bullets like Kevlar, these teeth would go right through and open up a
Aesthetically, it does look a bit off, but if it works, then it's work. We're looking for what's the word? What's the fucking word? We're looking for productivity over aesthetic. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So yeah.
a terrible gash. And the moment any teeth make contact, a follow-up attribute from the bat comes into play. Vampire bat saliva is coated in a potent anticoagulant venom called traculin that keeps blood from clotting. This kind of venom would leak into any bite wound, and anyone who somehow managed to get away would leave a thick blood trail. No matter what they did, or even if they had any medical attention, they just won't stop bleeding for a very long time.
Jesus.
This, as you may have guessed already, makes tracking down anyone who escaped easier.
Oh, yeah.
That is, assuming they don't just bleed to death.
Yeah.
Now, think about this.
I feel like you're more likely to just follow the trail and then come upon a corpse or near or someone who is nearly a corpse. Yeah.
For a second. A well-trained Indo 2.0 could be commanded to bite a single target in the field and then fall back.
That's another question. That's another thing I'm curious about. Are we gonna do the laser pointy thingy with this? Are we gonna do that with this or no? Maybe we'll have like certain sound calls or something. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Then
Or maybe we'll have a few. Maybe we'll have the laser sound call, all maybe hand signs, everything. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
follow the victim until he leads the Indoraptor to where the rest of the group is hiding. The end result is a
That's actually a really good hunting tactic, actually. You find the group, you take out like all of them except for one and let them run back and just follow them back until like the actual place, and there you go, you have your target. Yeah.
horrific snout with bite force of a Utah raptor, further multiplied by iron-covered teeth, saber fangs, and an anticoagulant tipped by bladed incisors. This is just the beginning. Soon you'll realize that this may be the most dexterous hybrid you've ever seen in your life. Section number 3, auxiliary weaponry. We've already talked about how marvelous the arm of an ape is from an engineering standpoint in a previous episode. A near-perfect mixture of flexibility and strength, making apes the only animals able to easily manipulate objects, carry their own weight, climb, and throw with great precision. So that said, it might be very tempting to pick the most physically powerful apes like gorillas or the extinct Gigantopithecus, or the most potentially aggressive chimpanzees. That said, almost any of the great apes would suit our needs quite well, but since behavior is going to be packaged with the DNA in some form or another, we're going to pick these guys, bonobos. These guys demonstrate complex creativity more so than most other apes. One individual named Kanzi was taught to make simple stone tools. He didn't just get too good at it, but invented his own manufacturing methods better suited to him than humans. Chimps and gorillas don't have the same manual dexterity, so this is why for the hand portion of this hybrid, bonobo DNA will be extracted and placed specifically on the arms and appendages. In addition, another reason why we opted for Hoplophonius earlier was because this animal came equipped with sharp recurved claws that are at least partially retractable. Its shoulder and upper arms gave it proportionally the most robust shoulder and deltoid amongst saber-tooths. These two together will make Indoraptor 2.0 much more adept at climbing or digging using its forelimbs. More interesting capabilities would be surprising victims by opening doors and windows to take people off guard. Fast twitch muscles would also enhance claw strikes and grant a lethal grip.
It reminds me of a skull crawler with the white head and everything, you know? It reminds me of that, except, you know, it's not a skull crawler, yeah. Jesus. Imagine they put... Imagine there's skull crawler DNA in one of these guys. Jesus. I don't know. I mean, hey, there might be kaiju DNA in one of these hybrids, because I don't know. I heard something about... I keep on hearing jokes about putting Godzilla DNA in Hank, so that might be happening. Oh.
This raptor can now grab someone by the neck and stab its claws through the throat, or choke the life out of them for a more stealthy kill. 5 digits tipped with claws on each hand and the opposable thumb would make it extremely difficult to dislodge it if latched onto a larger animal. Utah raptor was one of those large dromaeosaurs whose weight prevented it from leaping a large distance. This is why we carefully selected the vampire bat earlier. Most species of bats are helpless on the ground because of how their pelvis is shaped. Vampire bats uniquely have the ability to run and jump on the ground. Indo 2.0 might not have the proportional same jumping ability, but it will still be able to leap off the ground a good distance. With the solid combination of ape, bat, and Hoplophonius for arms and hands, Indoraptor 2.0 would be capable of quickly scaling up the sides of buildings, climbing, digging a tunnel to get underneath an especially tall fence, all while able to stealthily move around corridors.
Bro, it's like you can put this fucker in like a horror movie or something. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, Jesus, like, make like a short film horror movie with this fucker in it or something, like. I was like, it'd work really well. Jesus.
And catch anyone off guard. Now it's time to discuss the most important part of this hybrid.
Alright.
Section number 4, the brain. The most important aspect of any working animal is its mind.
Yep.
No matter how big and powerful, if it
God forbid, like, you make this thing so powerful and so effective and everything, only to find out that it's pretty much brain dead on birth. Yeah.
can't follow complex commands, or if it turns on its handler, this is not a weapon but a liability.
Yep.
And there is one predator with unparalleled cooperative skills, able to
a
read
dog
human
species?
body language
That's my guess.
effectively and quickly pick up on our own habits, even to the degree of being able to register and understand human facial expressions and our line of sight. Yeah, we are talking about dogs.
Hey.
The domesticated breeds of dogs.
We're putting man's best friend in it too, yeah. So not only is it a lethal weapon, it's also a friend now, I think. I don't know. Who knows? Just imagine those things. Just imagine people just having these things for pets too. Like, oh yeah, it's a dangerous, actual dangerous animal that, you know, you can like infiltrate like a military base and absolutely murder everyone in there in like the most effective and brutal way possible. But it's also a loving, caring pet for the family and everything. And I'm just out here on the street taking it for a walk. Jesus.
Dogs known today are a result of careful selective breeding and behavioral manipulation that happened over 20,000 years, bringing forth animals whose relationship with humans is considered one of, if not the most sophisticated mutualisms in the animal kingdom. You might be able to tame a wolf, but it will never be as trainable or pass those traits on like a dog can. With proper care and smart handlers, Indoraptor 2.0 would be almost as loyal and obedient as any well-trained hound or shepherd. Again, making Indoraptor 2.0 bigger and stronger wouldn't always work for the purposes it's intended for. This is why police and military units use domesticated dogs, not lions or wolves. There are many breeds that would be suitable, but to align ourselves with a breed historically proven in warfare, a good contender would be the combat-hardened, now extinct Molossian Hound, thought to be the foundation for several large dog breeds
I thought we were going with the German Shepherd, but okay, I've never heard of this.
we know today, such as Mastiffs and Great Danes. These were animals renowned for their strength, obedience, and loyalty. Add in the extra perks of being ideal guard dogs and companions in battle. Selecting this particular dog breed would further enhance the collaborative nature of our new hybrid, and an extra helping of the previously mentioned bonobo gene would also factor.
Alright.
Cognitive tests have also demonstrated that bonobos are much less aggressive towards each other and likely to exhibit cooperative behaviors than other apes. A 2010 study on ape cognitive behavior revealed that bonobos have far better deductive reasoning and observational skills. This is good for watching a target and planning ahead of time on how to confront them. While training the new 2.0, any older individuals would be able to assist in mentoring the younger ones. Given both dogs and bonobos can understand plenty of hand gestures by people, it might be possible to teach these new raptors commands and cues rather than just pointing a laser or blowing a whistle. Furthermore, if an Indoraptor had too many traits from animals that are either too aggressive or solitary, that would scramble all the instincts and commands in its brain. When running into battle, or just killing a victim, our new raptor will not only rely on brains and weapons. Section number 5, armor.
How durable
If the
is that?
exterior of the 2.0 looks a bit fishy, that's because it should. It's literally from a fish. The Arapaima is an apex predator fish from the Amazon River.
Yeah, those things are kind of crazy. I remember the Arapaima being talked about in a Casual Geographic video. Those fuckers are nuts.
And one of the largest freshwater fish in the world.
Yep.
Some can weigh more than 400 pounds and be over 10 feet long. We selected this fish not only for the scales that we will discuss in a bit, but because this is one of the few instances of a fish being an air breather.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, the Arapaima.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, these guys can pretty much just breathe air. Yeah. Or survive for like in air for like 24 hours, I think. Or I don't know if it can actually just straight up breathe in air, or if it can just survive for a very fucking long time on the air. I don't know. He's probably about to get into it.
Is an air-breathing fish, needing to surface every 15 to 20 minutes to gulp air. This animal has extra blood vessels throughout its body to transport enough oxygen to vital areas and a valve to close off the windpipe so the 2.0 can run through potential gases without these seeping in. The skin is the key feature here. Fish scales are tough already, composed chiefly of bone, unlike keratin scales of reptiles. But the Arapaima and our new raptor will put all other comparisons to shame. Each scale is composed of multiple layers of microscopic fibers knit together almost like plywood, with mineralized, almost rocky outer plating acting similar to bullet-resistant ceramic armor, and then a strong, flexible inner layer that acts like Kevlar. These scales allow for maximum mobility while still being extremely durable. How durable? For those who want a point of comparison, consider that a common main ingredient in bulletproof vests ceramic plating is silicon carbide, which has a fracture toughness score of 3 to 5. Arapaima scales have been found to have fracture points of 6.4.
Jesus.
These scales can be further augmented. Vampire bats, while eating, have the ability to manage the heavy amounts of iron they take in with their bloody meals. With this ability, the excess iron could be deposited into the claws and scales, not to mention the already enforced teeth.
See, this is what I really like about this. Like, we're actually like getting certain species and everything that actually complement each other and don't get in the way. Like, you know, like Hank's did. Yeah. Yeah, because, well, Hank had a really good design, but its effectiveness was dog shit. Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, I just really like this. Yeah.
Scaly armor, as seemingly impenetrable as it is, has one final trick up its sleeve. Color changing was something shown off to great effect by the Indominus, but it was hard to tell if the faulty prototype was intended to have the same ability. This was due to the cuttlefish DNA. Research has shown that this requires a very precise brain anatomy and control. So, to make our Indoraptor have this same ability without incurring the risk of brain incompatibility, there is a compromise. Anole lizards might look very unassuming, but they are some of the most highly successful lizards in the world. 400 species in just one genus. Amongst these, the water anole is the one we'll use. This species has a simple but very effective disruptive camouflage, able to change the color of its body and stripes between various shades of green, gray, and brown. Changing the color of its striping also helps in making it harder to see through foliage or underwater. For a bit of a psychological effect, and this is because the main target is humans, some of the color pigmentation levels will be genetically modified on the surface to create a skull-like image when viewed from head-on. Imagine seeing that face looking up at you from the water, down a dark hallway, or up a tree. Probably
Right, just nightmare fuel. Like, that's what it is if you just see this fucker looking at you, like, from anywhere in the darkness. Like, just imagine you're in your house, you're getting up in the middle of the night, and you know you're thirsty as shit. You know the thing we all have. We wake up in the middle of the night and we're like just straight up fucking dehydrating or whatever. So we go into the kitchen, get us some water, and then we turn around, and then you know and you see this fucker staring right at you. Oh Lord.
with some unlucky bastard's bloody arm in its mouth. And as an added perk, this lizard got its name for a reason. Water anoles are adept underwater thanks to a specific texture outside the scales, trapping air close to the skin. This allows the lizard to not only move quickly by running or swimming underwater, but even suck up some of the air through the scales and breathe out carbon dioxide to lengthen its dive. Strong claws and adhesive pads on the bottom of these toes help with both climbing and clinging to the floor when moving underwater. This attack animal could ambush a boat in the river by submerging and submarining its way towards it, crawling across the bottom to make less of a disturbance before climbing on board.
Man, this thing can threaten the water too. It's like so cool.
Or yanking someone over the edge.
Yeah.
Being able to find your target quickly and remain locked in is imperative for our Indo 2.0. In section number 6, we'll talk about senses. pretty much the tools that this improved hybrid will use to track its prey. The baseline Indoraptor was intended to have echolocation abilities, and that is a good basis to start from. But this hybrid has several aspects that are both efficient and silent. Indo 2.0 keeps its echolocation abilities thanks to the integration of Vampire Bat, although admittedly not as good since it lacks ear cones and flight capabilities, but still enough
Well, considering we have dog in this, I imagine it has a really kick-ass smell in it.
to track down someone in near pitch black darkness and orient itself. These sounds are so high frequency that humans can't usually hear them, meaning that anyone this guy is detecting is unaware because 2.0 won't be making a ton of audible noise like the prototype. This bat resembles the abilities of some snakes as well. Thermal energy sensors built into the snout of the vampire bat have connections that feed back into the brain. This is similar to the ones found in pit vipers and used by the vampire bat to detect potential prey and find spots with optimal blood flow and thinner skin to strike at. Indo 2.0 takes these attributes and is capable of detecting which parts of the body are less armored and more likely to bleed out, especially with its anticoagulant saliva. Additional assets like the infamous good sense of smell hounds have alongside the shrew component means that 2.0 would be a superb tracker over a long distance. And seeing how well raptors track prey in movies, these attributes would further bolster this trait.
Yeah.
Meet Indo 2.0, or as we named it, Mortalodon Anthrophagus.
Alrighty then.
Deadly toothed
Full of
human
shit.
eater. Height 2.5 meters. Length 5.5 meters, weighing 550 kilograms or 1,220 pounds. Being slightly shorter and lighter than the prototype aids in navigating inside buildings, scaling trees, and structures. Less weight equals less noise.
Yep.
Still, heavy enough to throw down with medium-sized dinosaurs and obliterate humans. An all-terrain hybrid able to run long distances, climb, dig, and briefly submerge for a span of time. This genome, very carefully selected, would create a predator that would be much more amiable to follow commands, be friendly to its human compatriots, and merciless to its victims.
Oh man. This thing's fucking awesome, man. Yeah, the Scorpius Rex has to be next now. Man, that was really awesome. I'm not sure whether I like this or the Indominus more. I don't know. It's it's very interesting. Regardless, I still love them both. Like these massively improved hybrids are amazing. Like, love it. And this one's even a pet too, or it can double as a pet. I love it. Now we just have to pray that we'll get something for the Scorpius Rex too. So yeah, that'll be that'll be interesting as well. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to end the video now. So if you enjoyed it, check out the original one, which will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.